Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Finding Joy in Your Vestibular Migraine Journey. I'm Marissa, and I'm here with my good friend Joy. We are vestibular migraine patients and VEDA ambassadors. Today, we wanted to talk to you a little bit about why we chose the name of our series, Finding Joy in Your Vestibular Migraine Journey. So we came up with a little mission statement of what we really hope to accomplish with the series. So we are doing this to help other vestibular patients find joy and hope in their vestibular journey by sharing our personal experiences with you. And also, we want to be an advocate for members of the vestibular community by sharing helpful information and resources with VEDA and vestibular.org. So that's kind of what we hope to accomplish with this series. And we wanted to talk today a little bit about how we found joy, or how we're finding joy in this vestibular migraine journey, and just kind of what that means to us and why we chose that for our title. So I'm going to hand it over to Joy. Would you like to tell us, Joy, about just, I know you are Joy, but how you found your joy in this journey here?
Yeah, for me, last year when I was going through the worst of it, didn't know kind of what I was dealing with. And I just felt like, is this ever going to end? I had lost my appetite. I couldn't eat. I didn't know what was wrong with me. Nothing on the tests were showing up. It was frightening. And I just kind of remember I started feeling like I was a burden on my family. Like, uh, it was just when you hit that low point. And I remember scrolling through Facebook, and one of my coworkers, her and her husband, have become health coaches. And so they always post very inspirational, postings on their Facebook page. And there was a particular post, and it said, "I want to see what happens if I don't give up." And that one just kind of hit me like, okay, don't give up. Not giving up, but don't give up on finding out what's wrong with you, or, the fact that you're not going to get better. And so that kind of pushed me to keep on. I found the vestibular therapist that could come out and help me. I checked around on the doctors, and I finally found our wonderful neurologist, Dr. Bay, that we both go to.
Yes.
Wonderful. And, I found a psychiatrist. I, got back in touch with my mental therapist. And, I kind of took it one day at a time. And I feel like that's when I started taking back a little of the power. I'm going to do this one day at a time, one doctor at a time. And my physical therapist, or the vestibular physical therapist, was a godsend. She would help me, kind of push myself when I didn't want to. And through that is where I found my joy. And even sometimes when I didn't feel good, maybe just having a conversation with my kids, having a conversation with a friend on the phone, maybe just watching something funny, an inspirational video. I think that's what got me through, to the point. And then once I kind of found out what I had and started to get better, I found a support group. And I think that's what really helped me, was finding other people who know what we go through. How did you find your joy through this journey?
Like you, and I feel like there's a whole process that having this vestibular migraine or vestibular issue that everyone kind of goes through. It's almost like a grieving process, where you have the anger and you have the, I don't understand why this is happening. and you have the confusion and then there's the sadness. And like you said, feeling like such a burden on your family. I completely felt that way. And that was, last year, we talk about how last year was just a horrible year for both of us. That's when I hit my low, the lowest of the low. And it was really hard because I didn't really see my life as a purpose. I didn't feel like I had a purpose. I'm like, why am I here? I'm sitting on the couch. I can't do anything. My family has to do everything for me. I would try to be there emotionally and mentally for my son, and that was what I could do for him. And so he would come home after school and we'd talk, and, I'd always be asking him things, and he'd sit with me sometimes on the couch, even if he was just going on his phone or something, or he'd put on a movie and I couldn't watch it with him. I'm so visual. I couldn't look at the screen, but I would listen, and at least, but I mean, it was just so hard. And I think when you talk about that shifting part after you reach that lowest low, like, how are you going to get pulled out of this? For what kind of helped me was adjusting how I thought of things. Again, with the gratitude journaling, you know, 3 things a day I'd write down, even if it was only I got out of bed today, or I didn't have a headache pain, or I didn't have a dizzy episode, because I was having probably 3 to 4 horrible vestibular migraine attacks like a day. So, I mean, it was very severe, and I would just sit. I was almost just sitting, just waiting for it to come, because I knew it was going to come, and it was survival mode, how I could kind of get out of that. But adjusting the way I was thinking about things. So writing those 3 things down, I think my brain started to shift that way. And then, like you, finding the right doctor, the neurologist, Dr. Bay, and then, like you said, joining a support group, and then meeting Joy in this support group, where I always said, there's no joy. I don't have joy. I have no one to talk to. And then literally I found Joy, which I cannot be more thankful and grateful for, meeting her. So that's kind of what has helped me, just not isolating yourself, kind of just talking to others, because, your family gets tired of hearing about it for so many times, like they'll listen, but then it's like, okay, you got to talk to someone else about it. But just, yes, not isolating yourself, and just really trying to get out there, and talk to someone else, and, whatever you can do. Maybe you still can't leave the house, but, just talking to someone. You don't have to have your video on, you could just do a phone call. But I think for Joy and I, that's just something that's so important about that with this series that we started, is we want to be there for you. We want to help you have hope, because we know, and to find that joy, we know that being at the lowest low, how that is.
Yeah.
So
you're not alone. Yeah. You're not alone out there. There's other people who we care, other people care. You can go to the VEDA website, and they have online support groups. If you're not able to go find one in your area, they have online.
Yes, and you don't have to have your video on. No, I found that out.
No.
People completely understand, once you agree, Joy, that if you're having a meeting and you just can't have the video on that night and you're just listening to it, everyone understands. They get it, it's okay.
They get it. And you don't even have to talk, really, if you don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
You can just listen to other people. And when we're in those groups, it's, you can say what you're feeling, and no one's taking it as, oh, you're looking for a pity party, woe is me, any of that. No, we're sharing our stories. We're creating a community, a safe place for us to express how we feel. And it's amazing. I know with you and I, a few times we've said some of our symptoms. We're like, oh, I have this one and this, the brain scrambled, this. the
Yes.
rocking, and we know what each other
What that
means.
means. Yes.
Yeah, we've had those before, and it's just so refreshing to speak to people who really care and want to help others. And for me, that was the game changer, finding the support. And sometimes even watching, VEDA has a wonderful rebalance series.
Yes, I love that.
If I am down, sometimes I'm having a bad night, I might just put one of those on, and it helps. It
Yes.
really does. It's amazing. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. What are some of the things you do when you do have one of those bad days or a flare up? Kind of what's your go-to now?
Yeah, you and I, before we got on today, talked about giving yourself that grace and what that meant to both of us. And I can let you share that in a minute too. But that was something I really had to learn because I am a perfectionist. I like order, I like a schedule. And everyone knows when you have this kind of illness, that all goes out the window. That's not happening. And I would really beat myself up over that. I would feel like a horrible person if I didn't get, the laundry done, or I couldn't make the dinner, or I couldn't just do something else for my family. And I would just feel like such a failure in every way. And I kind of slowly have learned that it's okay if I can't do that. If it's a dizzy day, that it's okay. I don't show myself, that I'm disappointed that I couldn't do that. And helping to know that, maybe it won't be like that tomorrow or the next day, because, when we have attacks, I still tend to think this, it's still something I work on, but that if we have this bad episode, and even if it's lasting a couple days, that this is how it's going to be forever. We've gone back to square one. I'm never going to get out of this again. Something I still need to work on. But, just not beating yourself up for that, and just giving yourself that space. And like I'll kind of have more of a couch day, and that's okay. And maybe I'll watch one of the shows I like, or listen to it, or a podcast. Just something to kind of get my mind off it, and then do the therapies that I can do for the day, because it always makes me feel better if I can, get in a light therapy or get in a vestibular exercise. But if I can't, that's okay. And then I will journal a lot. I'll what has helped me is kind of writing down those feelings, just writing down how I feel, and then looking at positive, things too. That kind of helps. Do you
Yeah.
want to talk a little bit about that grace part for you, how that's been?
Yeah. And that's, I think when we all go through this struggle, learning to give yourself grace, to be okay with, like you said, if I can't cook dinner tonight. For me, it started out slow. I would have the kids or my husband put the clean towels on the couch, and then I would fold the towels. I was like, wow, okay. Then I was able to put the dirty towels in the washing machine and start it. And they would move it from the washing machine to the dryer. Okay. Then I got to where, I could move it from the washing machine, and just little
Mhm.
steps like that.
Yes.
And it took, several months before I could just do a full load of laundry by myself. And I thought, wonderful. And even now, I tend to do smaller loads. So there's not
Yes.
so much to put in and out, again, adjusting your
Yes.
routine. Because like you said, we're so used to having routines. So adjusting your routine. I know when I make myself breakfast, I have to do it very methodically so that I'm not spinning all over the kitchen.
Yes. Yes.
I've just learned to do things a different order. When I clean the bathroom, I just do one item at a time. One day I do
Yes.
the toilet, then maybe few days later, I'll do the counter, and that's okay.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
okay.
I do that too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
okay. We can't do it all like we used to.
Yeah.
And it's okay because I know that I'm giving it my best. I know I'm trying to do
Yes.
what I can with what's in my wheelhouse.
Yes.
And I feel like if you break it down, it's not so overwhelming.
Yes. Definitely.
Um,
You have to break it down. It makes all the difference.
yes. And just learning to take it slow. And like you said, I feel like I've come to appreciate more things. And I would kind of do the same with the kids. Maybe I couldn't go out and go to their game or take them shopping, but I could be there for them emotionally and support them. And,
Yes.
I feel like I actually maybe grew a little closer to them with our downtime, you know.
Yes. Yes. I
So,
agree.
yeah, finding grace through this journey is, um, that's been one of the big keys, is giving myself grace. And I've heard so many people talk about they felt like you've almost become kind of a better person going through this.
Yes. Yes. I completely agree. I know like what we've talked about,
Mm.
you don't look at life the same way, you know, but in some ways it's better. And something that I felt like this when I got this illness, I felt like this was such a curse, like such a bad thing. And I was being punished and I couldn't understand. I'm like, oh, I must have done something really horrible to deserve this,
Yes.
Like, oh my goodness. And slowly and slowly, you realize that this is making you a stronger, better person. And yeah, I mean, just the little things I appreciate so much more. And I don't get upset about stuff that I would get upset about before, like little things, it doesn't bother me,
Exactly. I feel
you
that
know?
too. Yeah. I'm able to kind of just, that's not important. Let it roll off my shoulders.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it really does make you a better person, which I know is so hard to believe when you're in that moment.
Yes.
But I've grown so much as a person and just, I am so thankful for meeting you and all of the people that I've met kind of in my circle now in the vestibular world. I mean, it's just amazing. Just all these people that we're meeting and just connecting with and, sharing our stories. It's just been amazing so far with that
It's
part of it.
amazing. It's amazing. And hearing the other stories from our besties,
Yes.
Taylor warriors, and
Yes.
so many people who are struggling and they still want to give back, and they've inspired us. I think we talk about to give back, to share our stories. I don't think I would have ever had the nerve to do this. I
Me
kind of feel like we're
either.
similar, where we're both a little,
Yes, we're a little quieter and a
quieter.
little more private with our lives, like, yeah.
Yeah. So going on that first support meeting, or, you know, um, joining a Facebook group, for vestibular issues, it's a little intimidating. Um,
Yes,
and so yeah, when you're ready, you'll know when you're ready
you
to,
do.
and just take that leap of faith. And, there's
Yes.
others out there that want to help, and we want to hear your stories.
Yes, we do. We want to hear your story so bad and, just to get it out there to help others. And I mean, you just find in talking to others, like you're hoping it helps them and it helps you a little bit too, because you're not alone. And that's the big thing, because I know we always talk about that. I felt so alone last year in this. Like there was just no one for me to talk to. I had no contact really with the outside world. And part of that's my fault because I pulled away from my friends because I just got tired of canceling plans and just explaining that I was having the same symptoms still after a year, not feeling any better.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the support groups and like what Joy and I are doing. It's a safe environment. There's no judgment. We understand, we get it. So we're here to help.
Yeah, we're here to help. And I agree with the pulling away. And we've talked about this before. You can be in a room full of people, of your family, and your family can be wonderful helping you. You can be in the doctor's office talking to them. You still just feel alone.
Yes.
And I feel like joining or finding a support community that works with you and you feel comfortable in, it's been a game changer. So I'm so happy to find you and that we met.
Me too, Joy, that you can literally be my joy.
Thank you.
So yeah, so this has been great today. I think,
yes,
going forward, we're just going to kind of keep it like this, like conversation with two vestibular, friends, and we'll have topics, and, we want to hear back from you too, our viewers, as to what they want to share or have us talk about.
Yeah. And if there's anything people want to hear about, just drop it in the comments. Because we plan on doing this weekly if we can, different topics, and we're going to have some of the guests, some of the great people we've met in our vestibular communities.
Yes.
Have already agreed to kind of come on. So we'll have different people from time to time. So just drop it in the comments, what you want to hear, what topics you want to hear about. And we would be glad to discuss those. Or if anyone wants to be a guest or someone, drop a link, in the comment. And as we're building this page, we'll have more information on the YouTube page with links where you can find us at. So thank you, everybody.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us today, everyone. We hope you have a healthy day and balance in your day.
And find your joy.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.